Hey, what's up, my true seekers? How are you guys doing? Welcome to Real Talk with your girl, Lady D. Let me go ahead and do a mic check, making sure that everything is okay because for some reason my computer been glitching. I don't know why, but it's been glitching. I guess it's time for another one. So let me go ahead and make sure that everything okay, and then we're going to go ahead and get into my commentary because as you can see right here is a lot that's going on, but I call it. I already know what's going on. Okay, and that's real talk. Let me see if everything is okay, and then I can go on. So guys, if you're just coming on and those that gonna go ahead and catch the live, make sure that you hit like, comment, and share these videos for more unapologetic content. Okay. I'm just making sure that everything is clear. I don't know how long I'm gonna stay camera up because for some reason I'm going into the matrix. But let me go ahead and read my copyright disclaimer. And once I get all that out the way, then we can go ahead and continue. The copyright disclaimer is under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. But fair use is used permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. And also all this right here, guys, it is for entertainment purpose only. Because I know one thing, we got a lot of trolls that wants to, you know, come and strike your channel and get all mad. And then the thing about it, guys, like I said, by you sitting there, you showing, yourself saying what you can doing, even though you coming out with different names, trust me, you still can be found. Okay, make it make sense. You still can be found. Okay, so like I said, all this stuff that you guys are doing, trying to dox people, and I mean, just causing all kind of havoc. But like I said, when people do stuff like this, it's because money is involved. Money is involved. Yes, indeed. And we're going to break this down because like I said, guys, this is nothing new. Nothing new is under the sun. These people, like I said, they are running amok on you guys. Believe it or not, they are running amok. So again, guys, welcome to Real Talk with your girl, Lady D, unapologetic and nine bias. As you can see right here by the title, we're going to go ahead and talk about some stuff with the cast, okay? Even though all this stuff is not happening on the show, all this stuff is happening on social media, I mean, a bunch of angry bullies, okay? That's exactly what I called it. And then they have the audacity wants to come after my girl misbehaving. Make it make sense. She give her opinion just like anybody else, just like anybody else. She gives her opinion and you guys wants to call her out. And the thing about it is that the ones that's calling her out wants to attack, her features and attack everything about her. Show yourself. Show yourself. See, they're not going to show themselves because they are a bunch of bullies, okay? But like I said, they are easy to be found, okay? And that's real talk. Real talk, because I had someone came on my community tab and I was saying, people was, trying to strike my channel, which, they can't strike nothing because ain't nothing that I'm doing. You can't just because someone gives their opinion, then you wants to get all upset about it. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that at all. And the thing about it, when you give those threatened, yes, when you give those threatened comments, make sure that you find a way to go and use somebody else's computer, okay? Especially when it comes to the IP, because like I said, you easy could be found. You are messing with an entire family that's full of military brats, okay? And that's real talk. He that have an ear, let him hear what the Spirit of the Lord is saying, okay? Because we got a bunch of little dummies. But like I said, most of all this stuff is because of money involved. These people and I'm going to say it, this is for entertainment purposes only. But if someone is so angry and gets so upset behind people that they don't know, it's something behind it. It's something behind it. And what's behind all this right here is money, okay? It's money. So let's go ahead and talk about some of the stuff that's going on. And like I said, all this right here is entertainment purpose only. And the thing about it, you're not going to bully me. You are not going to bully me, okay? Because we're going to call you out. But as you can see right here, by the title is refusing to dismantle an angry mob. And we're going to also talk about all this stuff, digging ditches, trying to dig ditches in Africa and giving Africa saying that they building wells and they want to see these people have clean water. We got a lot of stuff that is going right here on American soil. And yesterday I showed you guys, some stuff that is going on in Huntsville where people, getting their land taken away from them and all this other different stuff that is going on. They can shine light on that. They can shine light on that. But you all know that follows me. And I hate to keep saying this. Let me go ahead and keep patting myself on the back. When I call something out, trust me, you can take it to the bank. Okay. You can take it to the bank because I already said what Carlos King needs to do is go ahead and just shut it all down. Shut it all down for 2 years because if you got disgruntled people that's on this show, don't want to be there, don't want to film with no one, which if I was the other cast, and I'm talking about Miss Buddy, if I was the other cast members, all the stuff that Miss Buddy is doing, and she's going on social media, and all she's doing is fanning the fire because we already know she loved playing with fire. Okay, I wouldn't even film with her. I wouldn't even film with her. Let her go to the stuff that she is working with. Don't she have her own little streaming network or something? Why she don't go there? Why she don't focus on her own business? But like I said, the reason why Miss Buddy is there because Miss Buddy want to make sure that she tear the entire house down before she leave. Okay, if your castmates, the ones that you are working with, tell you, look, why don't you go ahead and try to cease this fire when it comes to these overzealous millimeters? Go ahead and try to cease this. And all this right here is for entertainment purpose only, okay? Cease it. And if you going to come on social media and you going to still pander to this angry mob and still fanning the fire, you don't care about the people that you are working with, then somebody got to go. So what they need to do, they need to go ahead and vote and let this go because if not, like I said there and say, we already know how she operates. We already know how she operates. All the receipts is out there. If things does not go her way, what she wants to do, she wants to start setting fires. But if I was Carlos King, and I'm telling you right now, Carlos King, you better let that go. Let it go, honey, because I don't care what people say. Nobody really wasn't not checking for pretty much none of them until you put them on the map. You put them on the map. So don't think that, oh, it's because of one person. If she's not a part of this show, Miss Buddy is not a part of this show, the show is going to sit there and fail. Well, what is doing right now? And she's on there. Make it make sense, guys. Make it make sense. And like I said, ain't nobody cannot get mad but the devil. But when you sitting there and you are trying to dox people and calling people out and sitting there threatening people, make it make sense. And then they want to say that Maurice is out there, trying to dox people, trying to sue people. Some of this stuff need to be checked because most of them that's saying that Maurice is the one that taking them to court, they didn't show no kind of documents saying that Maurice is suing them. But yet, what they are doing, they are making sure that they put up that GoFunding. They're making sure that they putting up that GoFunding. Come on. He that have an ear, let him hear. And Another thing, another red flag. Why would these people fight so hard for people that they don't know? And the thing about it, Miss Buddy is not giving them no products. She's sitting there not meeting and greeting with them, but yet they still fighting so hard for her. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Because, like I said, long as they can get those clicks and their likes, and somebody is getting paid on the table, and I'm just talking allegedly, all this right here is allegedly, okay? To me, this is for entertainment purpose only, okay? But something got to be going on for these people to be fighting so hard for someone that would see them on the street walking on fire if she didn't set it, wouldn't even pee on their tail to go ahead and put it out. Make it make sense. But if I was Carlos King, I would sit there and shut it down, because you cannot sit there and continue these trauma binding people having a temper tantrum just because things is not going their way, when the cast is telling them to go and cease this fire, stop these millimeters from sitting there. And I'm gonna say melon because, like I said, I'm not gonna go ahead and call no names, but you know exactly what I'm talking about. Stop these overzealous fans, because what they are doing, they're not only sitting there trying to sabotage this show, but they're trying to sabotage these people's personal business. All because they feel that one person does not have full control. But like I said, when you start digging ditches, you better make sure that you dig a ditch for yourself. Because in my Nene Leakes voice, you never win when you play dirty. And as you can see right here, I talk about it all the time. Every time when I talk about love and marriage in Huntsville, you can build a house, you can furnish the house, but that does not mean that you're going to live that house. Everything that this person touched, somebody else is reaping the harvest. Somebody else is enjoying it. And they are upset because this queen right here, let me show you this queen right. The thing of beauty. Look at this queen right here. They are upset because this queen right here and her family is putting the show back on track. This melanated queen that refuses to get off of her throne and tilt her crown for these overzealous fans that wants to sit there and dox them and stalk their businesses and giving them bad report, and every little thing that these people do, they want to go ahead and nitpick. But like I said, sometimes you need your enemies. You need your enemies in your corners, because your enemies they are going to be the first ones that's watching, and what they're going to do, they're going to push you into your destination. They are your biggest advertisers. Your enemies are your biggest advertisers. Trust me, and you're going to need them in your corner, because they're going to be the first one. They're going to be the first one, these bottom feeders. That's what I call them, bottom feeders, okay? Because they are not sitting there worrying about no Miss Buddy. Why would they worry about Miss Buddy? Most of them don't even worry about their children as much as they worrying about Miss Buddy. Miss Buddy wouldn't even sit there and invite them to a picnic. Wouldn't even invite them to the show. But like I said, these people, knowing that it's something that they getting out of this right here. And that's why they are angry mobs, because they do not want you to mess up the stuff that they got going on. How the heck that you going to do a fundraising, a GoFunding, and raise that much money, and you still don't have the actual facts, and you got people pouring into all that right there? Make it make sense. Ding, ding. And when Miss Buddy came on social media and she's laughing and cracking up and acting like a child and saying all this stuff, but all the while she was pushing her products. All the while she was pushing her products. She gonna give you guys what you want to hear. She's gonna give you guys what you want to hear. long as she's pushing her products. Guys, are you that? Are you cuckoo for Cocoa Puff? Make it make sense. But getting back to Carlos King, you already said that your DM is full of people trying to get on a reality show. If I was you, I would focus on other businesses, other people that wants to work, and the ones that does not want to work. Don't let them be a part of this. Don't let them be a part of this because they are bad businesses. They are upset because the shine is not on them. What they going to be able to talk about? Tell me if they come back on, Miss Buddy come back on for season 7. What is Miss Buddy going to talk about? Because she built this whole entire show of trauma bonding, talking about Martell. And now that she's trying to build a case on Martell, if I was Martell, I would get my attorneys and tell my attorneys she could not even utter my name on that show. She have done enough. Why would I allow you to build your storyline behind me when you wanted to see me arrested? Not only that, you had me arrested with my children was in the car where my mother had to come and pick up my children. So if you worrying about our children, why would you make this mockery over something that had happened for 2 years? When Martell, if he really had wanted to see the mother of his children not in jail, but in prison, all he had to do is show the DA all those receipts that he showed Tasha K, but he spared her. But if I was Martell, I would take the gloves off. I would take the gloves off because we already know that she's not going to give you any mercy. She's not going to spare you because she's catering to her fans. Her fans is the ones that's controlling this narrative. And that's why if I was Carlos King, I will put a hold to it. I will put a hold on this show until we all get together and have a serious meeting, not just with the cast, but with the cast attorneys. And you know, guys, when I say something, you could take it to the bank. Have your attorneys right there in that meeting because these people is not focusing on a reality show. These people are focusing on these people' personal business. And that's where the line draws right there. So if we got one bad apple that refused to put out all this fire, then we're going to have to vote her out. She's going to have to leave. And if the fans sitting there saying that then they're going to leave with her, bye-bye, Felicia. Bye-bye. And don't let the door split you where the good Lord sent you, however it goes. Bye-bye. Let them go. Let them go. I know exactly how it is when it comes to business. When you get those bad apples in your business, and if you don't let them go, they will make your life a living hell. I'm a witness. Like I say, guys, I cannot tell you something that I never been through. When you let these disgruntled people into your establishment, your baby, and Carlos King say love and marriage in Huntsville, that's his baby. You let these disgruntled people in your business, they going to try to sabotage it. They going to try to tear it down from the inside out. And that's real talk. So let them go. Don't keep holding on. And if she cannot respect what her cast is asking her to do, then let her go. Let her go because like I said, one monkey don't stop a show. They are just upset. They are jealous. They jealous of the Scots. They are jealous of Tisha. They been was trying to break Tisha down. But the more that they kept slinging dirt and mud on Tisha, all she was doing is just rising up. Because you guys are putting her up there. You guys are putting her up there. And she's going to shine. And the reason why she's going to shine, because she's not a person that's gloating and asking to be there. That's how God worked. That's how the Most High God worked. He cannot bless mess. She's ignoring you, Tails. And just because Tisha is ignoring you, Tails, you guys still dragging for her. You guys been dragging for Tisha since the time that she came on that show. Wanted this woman to leave her husband because you guys wanted some trauma bonding people. You wanted to watch trauma bonding people because misery loves company. Misery loves company. You guys wanted to see this girl hurt, her family hurt, and everything that's connected to her hurt. But she sat there and said, no, the buck stop here. And just because she decided that she wants to stay with her husband, because that's what these reality shows do. Some of these reality shows do. They stereotype black people, especially black successful people. They don't want to see a family intact. They don't want to see them, making it happen, building their businesses. Don't want to see that. Make it make sense, guys. Make it make sense. And I truly believe when it comes to the Scots, they can put that show back on track because that's what the show was supposed to be. It's supposed to have been about black entrepreneurs in a very small town coming together and building up Huntsville. Not talking about all this dysfunctional stuff, putting all that garbage. That's all it is, garbage. Putting all that garbage on the table. Even Carlos King was shocked. He knew, and everybody else that was behind the scene, they knew what was going on. But season one, you wants to talk about all the stuff that is going on in your household, making it all about you. That's why I said there and say what they need to do is just go ahead and allow Ariane Curry to come on that show. You might as well, because Ariane Curry is the main character of Love and Marriage in Huntsville because the entire show was centered around her. It was 3 in that marriage. It was 3 in that marriage. And I truly believe that if this show wouldn't have never came out, most likely they would have been living like one big, huge, happy family. Because who going to stay in a relationship knowing that your man was cheating on you half of your marriage, and you didn't do not one thing until you came on this show? Make it make sense. But if they are not, if Miss Buddy, not they, if Miss Buddy does not want to go ahead and dismantle this angry mob, then Miss Buddy gonna have to go. Miss Buddy going to have to show her talent somewhere else. Why would Miss Buddy go ahead and try to set up her own little streaming network and have her own shows and still stay and be a part of this cast right here, Love and Marriage in Huntsville? To me, it's like a conflict of interest. Because it's trying to tell me that, oh, you're going to try to tear down this house so you could sit there and build your own house. No, it doesn't work like that. Why don't you leave? Because it's like oil and water. You cannot focus on something that's yours and trying to build up something that's somebody else. Let her go, Carlos King. Let her go. Because I'm pretty sure that if you bring in Ariane Curry, like she said, when they go low, she take it to hell. Okay, bring in Ariane Curry. Bring in Ariane and her son, make them a part of the cast. Let Martell be happy. Let Martell be able to tell his reality. Because Martell already said, and then Carlos had got upset about that. But this man most likely been talking to Carlos because I'm pretty sure that he have Carlos King number on speed dial and was sitting there saying, "Look, I'm tired looking like a fool. I'm ready to tell my reality. That is not my reality. This is fake. We are acting." But these overzealous fans, they believing that I'm running behind Mel. I don't want Mel. If I wanted her, I could have had her. I could have had her. But I don't want her. I'm with who I want to be with. That's my storyline. But what is Mel's storyline? What's her storyline going to be? Let's say Miss Buddy. All this right here is for entertainment purpose only. Allegedly. Allegedly. But what is her storyline would be? Going to Africa, asking her overzealous fans to donate $100 so she can go and dig wells in Africa? While you at it, while you digging wells, why don't you buy some cocoa beans as well? Or get a few orphanages? Because most likely, if you know about businesses and when you're trying to get a tax write-off, we gonna sit there and say we building wells. And I'm not saying her, I'm just talking in general, guys. I'm just a blogger. This right here is for entertainment purpose only. This is for kiki and haha, okay? But most people, when they wants to get those tax write-offs and try to sit there and cover up some stuff, what they going to do? They're going to say, look, I've been sending donations and I've been building wells and I've been buying cocoa bean farms and orphanages in Africa. Well, we got all this stuff that's going on right here on American soil, right here on American soil. And I'm pretty sure when it comes to Huntsville got a lot of people that's, in low income and poverages and homeless, and people living from paycheck to paycheck. And just like I had talked about yesterday, people lands are being taken from them because of the main process. The government is taking a land and giving it to universities and all this other stuff. I talked about that. Make sure you go ahead and check out that video I had upload yesterday on my live. We got so much stuff that we can talk about. They can talk about all the stuff that is going on, how families, is their lands are being taken. Put that on the show. But what Miss Buddy's storyline going to be? If she cannot talk about the case, if she cannot talk about Martell, what Miss Buddy's storyline going to be? That we are going to Africa digging ditches. Oh, Lord Jesus, sometimes you have to laugh from crying because God, these are your people. These are your people. But I'm pretty sure that Martell Holtz got a storyline because everybody wants to see absolutely Ari. Oh my God, I bet your skin crawled up. Oh, I can't believe she said that. Oh, we need to get her off of YouTube. We need to go ahead and get her off. Just like they sat there and said about misbehaving. I mean, these people, I even took some of the comments down. And if misbehaving, you want to go behind, and file charges and get your attorney, trust me, you can. Get these people IP address because they are trying to dox misbehaving. Let me tell you what they said. Oh my God. And like I said, they easy to be found, guys. They are easily to be found. Where they say, somebody said, send what she said to the nursing board. They wants to cancel. And then they capitalize misbehaving. Send what she said to the nursing board and cancel her, our own people. And all you have to do, misbehaving, is get their IP address and send this to your attorney. And I promise you can take legal actions because when you come on, all you're doing is giving your opinion just like everybody else, okay? And like my son said, let them come for me, okay? Because like I say, this is a household of militaries that's been in the military for years and years, and they know exactly how to connect to the right people, okay? Another person says that she is not a nurse, and then they talked about her speech. Come on, guys, make it make sense. Make it make see. These what I call computer thugs. They're gonna say all that behind the computer, but they're not gonna show who they are. They're not gonna show who they are. And another person came out and said, report her to the board of nursing. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Lord have mercy. And then I guess they was talking about Miss Buddy right here, where they say if she is a dedicated healthcare provider, she would know the importance of unsafe drinking water in countries like Ghana. Ghana, look, their water is natural, okay? The only reason why some parts of Ghana, that's just to show you you have a very small mind. But Ghana does not have their water is not polluted. Our water is the one polluted. That's natural water, natural spring water. And if you see any water that's polluted in Ghana, and that's because these invaders are coming in and going underneath the ground and digging for these people minerals. That's why. That's why. These how the heck you can say that the people in Africa, and I'm not talking about entire Africa because Africa is a continent, but how can you sit there and say that these people, they have dirty water and these people eat off the ground? Natural stuff. Their stuff don't have all that chemical, all that GMO. They don't have all that in their food. We got all that. We need help. There's a 911 right here on American soil. But the people that's in Ghana, guys, their water is spring water coming straight from the heavens, okay? So I don't know why you guys are running with those type of narratives. You need to start watching videos. If you don't know anything about Africa and parts of Africa, you need to watch those videos with these content creators that lives in small villages. These people are very happy. These people is not sitting there wondering how to tear down each other and working these 9 to 5 jobs and stress and blood pressure high. They're not worrying about all that. These people, to them, is a good life because they are not materialistic. See, what you guys are looking at it from a European mindset. And that's why you can say that I'm going to Africa and I'm going to build wells, which we already know that is one of the biggest scams. And I'm not saying Melanie, I'm just talking, guys. Entertainment purpose only. A legend. But most of that stuff, guys, is because people are scamming these people in Africa. They're gonna use these people. These people are not poor. All that right there is just for you to sit there and donate to all these organizations. And I promise you, not one dime or maybe one well or one bean farm or one orphanage. One of them might be built. But the majority of the money is going to go on to them, going to go into their pockets. Like I said there and say, enough is enough. This right here is what I call the year of 2024, the year of exposure, where the Most High God is ripping the sheets off of these wolves in sheep clothing. No longer that you going to sit there and try to keep putting your foot on God's people without being exposed. God is going to bring you to open shame, and that's real talk. You're not going to keep sitting there trying to misuse God's people just because of your lifestyle. And then the thing about it, they say Ghana got dirty water. My God, Why don't you go and check your water system and see how much contamination that is in your drinking water? But yet you trying to worry about something in a whole different country. Make it make sense. Hi, Nicole. Nicole Gibbons says, "Good afternoon, Lady D, the elevated queen." Yes, indeed. But girl, this is what they jealous of. This is what they jealous of right here. They are jealous of this queen right here, Miss Letitia, because Miss Letitia is going to run with this show. She's going to put love and marriage in on the map. And like I said, everything that Miss Buddy touched, everything that she touched end up in somebody else's hands. And I'm not trying to be mean, guys, but like I said, you air it out. You're a free game. How can you consider yourself as blessed soon the minute you build something up, somebody else turn around and reap the harvest down to your entire family? Make it make sense. Miss Bertha, oh my girl, Miss Bertha, how are you doing, Miss Bertha? Miss Bertha Raymond, she said this is that missionary narrative creating to give grifts. Yes, grift Americans donation dollars. They collect those dollars, but nothing is ever accomplished for the ones that the dollars was given to help. Absolutely. Absolutely. They've been sitting there using these people, these our people, our God-given people, the motherland. How long? How long are the worms, the palmer worms, and the locusts and the caterpillars is going to keep squeezing the hell out of Africa? Leave the motherland alone because you're going to be exposed. They've been using Africa since the beginning. Took everything. Now they're trying to act just like the invaders, our own people. And I talked about all that. We got white supremacists we fighting on one hand. Now we fighting our own people. Our own people wants to do the same thing the invaders have done, trying to squeeze the life out of Africa, knowing that, like I said, no weapon formed against them shall prosper, and every tongue rise against them shall be condemned. And then they want to use it in the name of Jesus, wants to put God's name in it, these demons. But you will be exposed. We doing this. This is God's given gift. This is a calling. And then they wants to sit there and say, God told me to do this. God told me to do that. God told you to go, but you still stay stuck. Okay? Stop using these people because this is the year of exposure. The entire world is sitting on the judgment seat. They see all this stuff. God is not going to allow no rocks unturned. Every rock going to be unturned. You going to be exposed, okay? Nicole Gibbons says true beauty and dedicated wife. Hashtags T Squad. We don't rejoice in the downfall of others. Absolutely. Lady D, can you drop the link? Yes, yes, absolutely. But like I say, this is real. You're not going to continue sitting there pimping and prostituting God's people. You're going to be exposed. And God is pulling the sheets off of these wolves. And then they got the audacity to say, God said it. God say, I don't know these people. Get from behind me, you work of iniquity, you devils. That's what God called you. How the heck you gonna say God this, God that, when you were sitting there sending lives to the slaughterhouse? Innocent lives. Just because your foolish mistakes, you sending innocent lives to the slaughterhouse. When that child, them children could have been a doctor, a lawyer, or maybe the next president of the United States. But you made a decision for them. He that have an ear, let him hear. But yet you wants to say, God said this, God said that. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Make it make sense. And this is the year of exposure. No more that you're going to sit there and keep misusing these people and then saying that Ghana got dirty water. Go check your water. Right there in Jackson, Mississippi, the water was contaminated. She can go to Flint, Michigan. and help clean that water system. My God, and still get a tax write-off. Hey, my girl.
Good afternoon, Elevated Queen. I thank you for letting me up on your panel. I appreciate it. When
No
you say
problem.
this is
No
a year of
problem.
exposure, I need to tell you something. Now, both my parents are government attorneys, right? Now, check
Hmm.
this out, Lady D, because I know you like to research when people say things. To be an legitimate charitable organization, you have to register with the IRS and be
Absolutely.
what they call a 501c3 corporation. With you being in
Hmm.
business, I'm sure you know this, ma'am, right?
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
legally, you can't solicit donations for a charity without the IRS legitimizing you as a charitable organization.
That's it. That's
So,
it. So
in
she's not a
essence,
five. She's not a 501c3, right?
no. So, in essence,
Okay.
even
Okay.
you
Okay.
doing that is scamming. Now,
Absolutely.
once the public, kind of knows that, or people may take advantage of the fact that the average person may not know that, but it is criminal in itself to solicit donations to donate to a charity without that 501c3.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And
And
you would
that's
think
facts.
all the college education and so forth, you would know that, but people play on the public's ignorance about that kind of thing. And then they collect money and not really know specifically where it's going. And
Absolutely.
times are hard. Maybe they don't get paid until the show airs. I don't know. But secondly, Lady D, back in our days when people would say, when your kids leave the house, they're a reflection of you.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, it's the same thing about fans. Now, I just want to get your opinion. I love getting you and Miss Marcella's opinion. To me, your fan base is a reflection of you. She doesn't strike me. When I saw a snippet of a content creator showed where she was saying she wasn't going to dismantle her fan base, right?
That
My
was
whole thing is
horrible.
this. I agree, Mr. Shanti. But my whole thing is this. I think that if you look at her, she's not a very humble or a very mellow person. So her fans reflect the hostility and the combative nature of her. But that's just my opinion. Because you'll see now, I'm going to be like you, Lady. Do you know how you throw that slick shade? Nobody
I
holds her
do.
fans under arrest, calls 911 and tells her fans you have the right to remain silent, and holds them under arrest and makes them come to content creators who don't drink the Jim Jones Kool-Aid of that cult over there. Nobody makes them
Mhm.
come over here or the different channels. They come on their own and harass other people. Now, when she told her followers to contact the content creator's job, right? That was
Mhm.
allegedly okay for them to do. But the fact, I don't know if they come over and try to change people's minds or what have you. But my whole thing is this: if you can command your cult to go and contact somebody's job and say, if you follow him, if you support me, you won't follow him, right? Then you
Mhm.
can say, look, as a fan base, support me, I'll, stand on business, whatever they say over there. But please don't represent me in that regard. But she has not said that one time because she approves of the harassment. And I say this because I will stress again, nobody tells her fans, or I don't even see anybody that does not support her go in any content creators' chats because I look.
Mhm.
So if you support someone and you're not trying to do intel and take what you've heard back to her, why come over here? You watch, but why come over and harass people and talk down to people or call people names? Because she endorses that. She never says not to do it.
That's it.
But that's just my opinion, Miss Lady
You
D. I
absolutely,
just
because all this right here, if you really look at it, and especially I can see it because I don't look at it as a fan. I
right,
stand on my truth. All this right here is to sell her products. And what she's
right.
doing is she's catering to these people. I'm going to come on. Oh, if I need 100 more people to come on, and then I'm going to start spilling the tea. Okay, I'm going to give you a little bit. I'm going to give you a little
Mm-hmm,
bit. And then I'm going to promote my product. Okay, I'm going to sell a little bit more. Now I
mm-hmm,
need more people. And then I'm going to promote my
right.
product. All this right here, they just don't see it that everybody it's like a money grab. And also what really hurted my heart
Hmm.
is how they sitting there, they treating misbehaving. How the heck you
Yeah,
gonna
no.
call misbehaving out and she's only a blogger? And she's only
And a
giving
small
her
one at that.
honest opinion and giving her honest opinion. And I like what you said because how they was coming for me, when they touched
Hmm.
my channel. And like you said, they say you can't strike what God already done bless. You understand?
Right,
But
exactly. And
it's just
nobody.
so sad. It's just so sad. But when you see that people are trying to shut you up, you got
Right.
to look what's going on behind the scene. It got to be something crooked going behind the scene if they have to be so vicious and so malicious over people that they do not know.
But you know what, Lady D, you're one of the first content creators. That's why I like you so much. You're highly intelligent. And what I like about you is you guys are not paparazzi, right? Y'all don't sit and stalk people's
Not
houses
at
and
all.
run
Not
up
at
with
all.
cameras. None of the bloggers do that. So the only way you would be able to receive certain information is if people are giving it to you. Okay. So unless there's some kind of ghost following these people around, those content creators are not necessarily getting that information by, following people around like the press does, celebrities.
Mhm.
So there are people giving it to them. Okay. So my whole thing is this. I wouldn't put it past people to slide some, get to provide benefits to push their narratives.
That's exactly what's going on.
Right. That's in
That's
my
exactly what's
opinion.
going. You're not going to fight that hard for some people that you don't know. If I'm going to fight
Right.
hard for something like that, it's because of something that I want out of the deal. But let me go ahead and acknowledge my girl, Miss Country
Yes,
Girl.
man.
She
Hey, Miss
says,
Linda.
"Good afternoon, happy motivational Monday, Lady D, Nicole, and Chat. Thank you, Queenie." And
Good. Thank
also,
you, Miss
you can go
Queen.
ahead and take a crack at this one right here. Linda Young says, "I saw that live as well, Nicole. I couldn't believe she said she wasn't going to dismantle her fans. She need her supporters to boost her low self confidence." And line her pockets. Absolutely. Go
I
ahead.
agree, Miss Linda.
Have at it, Nicole.
I agree, Miss Linda. Now, why I think you're very intelligent, I'm going to say this. I just go by observation, right? And my life has been far from perfect. I grew up primarily with my grandparents because my parents had very high demanding jobs. They got divorced. So when I wasn't around my father, whom I was very close to, he relocated out of the state due to his job, right? Then I became really, really, really obsessed with getting male attention or any attention I could get. And so after my marriage, when I went through therapy, and my therapist just basically said, when you grow up without, as a woman or a young lady, without that male figure in your home or constant fatherly attention, you tend to compensate for that by
Mhm.
wanting excessive admiration. And that's what I see, Miss Linda. So I
Absolutely.
agree. There
Absolutely.
is some insecurity there,
That's it. That's it. And
but
Linda
that's just
also
my
said
opinion.
she made a comment about God blesses his people. Then under the same sentences said, "I feel like a goddess." Don't quote me,
Mm,
but when she said that, I'm like, this girl really think that she is their God. It is just so sad.
I
And
agree.
the thing
I
about it,
agree.
they believe in it. And it's not too much of they believe in it. The content creators are pushing it because, like I said, they're getting the clicks, they're getting the likes, and also something got to be going on behind closed doors.
Well, I
But
will
like
say
I
this:
said,
when she
whatever
talked
in the
about,
dark
oh,
going to be in the
gun
light.
the
It's gonna
light,
come to the
I don't
light.
pay
Mhm.
attention to small bloggers. Well, if it's such a non-factor and you're
Mhm.
not bothered, why would you address it? Everybody,
Absolutely.
anybody in public who's ever worked in public or media, right? And my
Mhm.
parent used to be on the news years and years ago. I mean, so it's no point in even, bringing that up. But my dad always said that as soon as you acknowledge something, then it did, hit a nerve. I'm not saying it,
It did.
bothers you to the point where you felt like you wanted to have a nervous breakdown. But of course, it did hit a nerve because you acknowledged it at first. Right.
That's it.
So even though this is a quote unquote smaller blogger who doesn't have a lot of numbers, it still resonated enough that several bloggers had to address it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then the thing about it is, like Nina says, a hit dog will howl. So quite
Exactly.
obvious, the reason why they're saying it because they don't want these small bloggers to sit there and expose all this stuff that they are doing. They don't want them the money.
Hmm.
Also, let's talk about this GoFundMe. Is Maurice is he suing these people or he was just threatening to sue them?
I think now, according to, because I don't really go to their channels a lot,
Mhm.
but from what I gathered, a larger blogger stated that there was some paperwork served to certain content creators, but
So
the
stop, stop,
subpoena,
stop, stop right there. Stop right there. Okay, you say serve. So did they show that on their channel, like they show everything else?
no, she claimed that they
Okay.
allegedly received an email stating that there
Mhm.
was a court date set for March 11th. But since they were not served, that it was not a legal subpoena. That's the legal information that the content creator said she received after she set up the GoFundMe and she retained legal counsel for those content creators after
So,
she collected the money.
oh, that's all I wanted to hear. Okay.
Right.
Okay. So they never showed you any email that he actually was subpoenaing, serving them, right?
No, but they
They
say that
said,
they
they
were threatened
said,
to be sued by him
but
via
they never showed no
email.
proof, no proof. But they set up
No.
a GoFundMe, right?
Yes, ma'am. There is a
All right.
GoFundMe with over $10,000 in it, according to the
Mhm.
content creator who developed or initiated the GoFundMe. There's over $10,000 in it as we speak, and that's to retain legal counsel. And they're still collecting for anybody else that may be facing litigation with whomever they get sued by for defaming their character.
Mhm.
So they're still collecting for people who may need legal counsel. But to me, I mean, like I said, they even acknowledge the fact that the subpoena or the information they received, if that information is true, was not real. That they
So
would have
they
to be
acknowledge
served
that
first.
that it may not be real, right? That he's
Right,
just only saying that.
right,
But yet
right.
they still set up that GoFundMe.
Yes, she said she did
Oh,
it
okay.
after she heard that Mr. Scott was going to pursue legal action. She set up the GoFundMe, but they didn't really, it was not confirmed until after they received the email. So
Mhm.
she said she did it to be polite because he threatened to, set up the GoFundMe. I mean, threatened to have certain content creators in litigation. After he said that, once he threatened that, she set up the GoFundMe. After the GoFundMe was set up, then the content creator said they received an email from him about a court date that was not real
Mhm.
because
So
they
but they
weren't served.
they never showed the email,
No,
even though they say he served them, right?
right. That's
Oh
correct.
my God. Mm-mm-mm.
Now, I think one blogger did show some paperwork indicating that he wanted to uh her to produce bank records and so forth. But
Mhm.
again, I don't know specifically if that was from Mr. Scott.
Mhm.
When I saw it, I didn't see his name or anywhere on the paperwork. Now, I'm not saying it
Mhm.
wasn't real, but it didn't look like legal paperwork to me.
Okay. But they never showed any paperwork at all, any emails, no subpoena, no
No,
nothing.
no, ma'am, no tangible,
Okay. No, but they did set up
demonstrations.
a GoFund and they got over thousands of dollars.
Yes,
Okay.
and the GoFundMe has not shut down. And one of the content creators, I think, had stated that she retained legal counsel for a content creator, and the retainer fee was $3,500 to be exact
$3,500.
for a retainer. Yes,
So if that information is out already on one of those bloggers' channels that they
not
received
that
that
I
amount of
saw.
money?
But
Mhm.
that's the figure she threw out, and that's when I tend to believe that some kind of lawyer may have been paid, because that's how the content creator who devised the GoFundMe found out that the court date that they were given was not an official court date.
Okay. And one more question we want to ask.
Mhm,
The one that set up that GoFundMe, is she's a
mhm.
YouTuber?
Yes.
Wow.
And so when Maurice threatened to sue, she set up the GoFundMe like maybe the next day or the day after.
Mhm.
And so then all the content creators were, their subs and different content creators, set up this legal fund
Mhm.
to, assist with anybody who was going to be in litigation. But what she did pay an attorney, or she stated that one was paid, they found out that the court date that Mr. Scott, gave to the content creators was not a real court date. And that to me
Okay.
sounded a little different because I'm like,
Mhm.
most people would pay a lawyer once it was confirmed that they knew they were getting sued. I
So
see what you're getting at, Lady D.
they didn't confirm at all, but they asked for that GoFundMe, right? And
Right.
she
Now,
was
even
a
if you go
content creator,
consult with,
and she had her subscribers to support that GoFundMe, right?
yes, but even to consult with the lawyer, most consultation fees
Absolutely.
are are not. I mean, my parents never, well, they're government attorneys, they can't practice privately anymore. But
Mhm.
most consultation fees for defamation cases typically are hourly and they're not
Mhm.
over 500. They're anywhere between 500 to $1,000
Mhm.
just to sit and speak with a lawyer. To retain a lawyer would mean there would be an active case.
Mhm. So it's none because they don't know if he submitted anything or not, but yet they
Right.
set up that GoFundMe.
Right. If the court date wasn't real, then you would need to retain a lawyer. You would just pay a
Mhm.
consultation fee to sit down and talk to a lawyer and say, I've been threatened to get,
Mhm.
to be in litigation in some form of fashion. Here's
Mhm.
what the complainant is alleging. How would this, how could you help me if I need you? Most
Mhm.
consultation fees are not $3,500,
Mhm.
not for
Mhm.
a defamation case, at least. You know what I'm saying?
And
It's not a felony, it's not anything
yeah,
serious. So I found that really strange that it
it is.
cost, or the price was that amount for a consultation. That was not a
Mhm.
felony.
Wow.
You see what I'm
But
saying?
that's it. Bertha Raymond says it wasn't a threat. He stated it as a fact. What
Hmm.
Maurice did was public privately and public his condition to not file complaint. The CC doubled down. Maurice answer reality is real. So Bertha, when she said that it wasn't a threat, he stated it as a fact. What Maurice
Hmm.
did was public privately. So but Maurice did not send him nothing. He just was
No,
threatened, right?
right.
And
He
and,
asked
and
her to
you
take
you
down
do
the
not
video.
see any emails or any subpoenas that these content creators had used their platform to set up a GoFund to get their followers to send donations. And this right here was not even active, right? That subpoena was not
That's
even
correct.
shown.
And they
Wow.
admitted that. They admitted
Wow.
that because they said when they paid the lawyer 3,500 to be exact,
Hmm.
that was a retainer fee to retain counsel. But most of the time, if the lawyer says, look, there's no
Yeah.
court date set, that's still a consultation fee. That's not a retainer.
But why would you want to set a consultation fee when you don't have no one that even submitted any subpoenas to you?
Well,
Why
you
would
can
you disclose
always go to
that?
an attorney, Lady D, and say, well, I feel like this person has wronged me. And I
Mhm.
mean, most of the time, just like when you go into a doctor's office, if you don't have insurance, for example, you can pay the clinic to see you the same day.
Yeah,
You
but
see what
I'm
I'm
talking
saying?
about the subpoena. They didn't get a subpoena. Didn't get an email. All they got was a verbal threat.
They got a verbal threat and they say that they were
But yet
issued.
they still picked up that money off of their
Yeah, they
platform.
did. Right. They did that after he made the initial threat that he was going to file a suit. Then they collected the money.
Mhm.
At which point, after that, they claimed that Mr. Scott served them legal papers given a court date of March 11th. And
Mhm.
they say the content creator says that that court date that Mr. Scott emailed them or served them with was not a real court date.
Mhm. And they never showed that document either, right?
No, ma'am.
Wow.
And the document what I glanced at, basically it didn't state his name on it. It just said that Mr. Scott wanted banking information, and he wanted the YouTube revenue, reports of the YouTube revenue that the content creator, received. And I mean, but it didn't look like, according to them, an initial or a formal suit has not been filed.
Mm-hmm.
But they're still collecting money just in case they do need the assistance of a lawyer.
So what if they don't get any emails or any subpoena? So where
Right.
is that money going? Who going, what they going to do with that money? Is they going to reverse the subscribers that send them that money?
I don't know. That's a good question. And also, when you do, I didn't know this either until I spoke with my mother, and she's a now retired government attorney. For any kind of legal defense fund, the rules are different, and the IRS is supposed to, and I'm sure you know this, lady, because you're an entrepreneur, the IRS is supposed to oversee legal defense funds as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because there was another sector that I was involved in where there were people taking up collections for a defense fund for someone that is, currently incarcerated, right? A celebrity that's been currently incarcerated, and they were retrieving those funds for defense funds illegally. And the IRS actually did get involved, and they stopped all that collecting because the person they were collecting it for said, I don't have any money. All these people are collecting money and I never got it.
Mm-hmm.
So some of the CCs had to stop taking up collections because it was very clear when the IRS or when his attorney researched or went back to see,
Mm-hmm.
the lawyers needed their money. The client didn't have the money to pay. And then they knew, he was told by his relatives, your fans are taking up money for a defense fund. Right.
Mm-hmm.
But the client didn't have the money. So the IRS got involved and they stopped making those content creators take up collections for a legal defense fund. You can do it, but it has to be overseen by the government.
Wow. That's a lot. So I have to ask you one more question.
Sure.
Those GoFunding that is supposed to go to those two content creators that allegedly have been subpoenaed by Maurice, right?
Mm-hmm.
And one of them is an elderly lady, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And this right here is what I want to ask. So if Maurice did not actually go with the subpoena and submit it, then the money still goes to the elderly lady, right? And
well, it's supposed to be like an illegal trust again.
So
and typically,
trust. So who is the trustee? Who is the trustee?
I have no idea. And like I said, it's not just for those two. Anybody else that allegedly in that specific paperwork that he presented, he listed other content creators by initials only. I don't know. I just saw, I just listened in, I didn't go harassing anybody in the chat and trying to distract programming. I just was listening, and allegedly he had several other content creators that he was going to pursue litigation as well. I don't know if that's true or not, but I know that as of right now.
But it is that information is out there where we can find this information where the YouTuber is asking the subscribers to donate this money to this GoFund. That information is out, right?
So yes, I was watching a video. Was it Friday morning or one of the evenings? I was tapping in to see what was going on because they did a 3-part series about Mr. Holt's financial information, which I was like, nobody else can find anything to do. I mean, Lady D, they actually did a 3-part series. The videos were over 2 hours, specifying all his debt, which is also not, it's not legal. But anyway.
These people are too personal. They are very personal, but
it's ridiculous.
A lot of stuff intrusive about them is very shady as well.
It is. It's intrusive. And during that live, ma'am, they were asking for donations to go to, this individual's attorney.
Wow.
But the money is in a GoFundMe. How those funds will be allocated, or who is going to disperse those funds or reimburse people, it's kind of up in the air. And again, any kind of legal defense fund or trust fund that goes to legal expenses is supposed to be overseen by the IRS.
Absolutely. That's what I'm saying.
even if it's a GoFundMe, any kind of defense fund has to be overseen. You have to have a formal board. I believe, what is that form called, lady? It's called an IRS 990. You have to fill that out to
Mhm.
basically request that you are a charity, right? Or you want to be a
Absolutely.
charity.
Yeah,
And
but
if
once
it's
you
a
do the
defense,
501c3, they going to send those forms, those 1099. All you have to do is just fill them out of what you need those donations for, and then after that,
mhm,
you know, they prove you can go on with it. But also they'll give you a EIN number. But the thing about it, if you not
mhm.
a profit, if you're not non-profit, then you cannot solicit donations. That's
That's what my
illegal.
parents told me. Yes, ma'am. Lady D Sharp. That's what my parents told me. So the fact that that's even been done, to me, if you're college educated, and I'm
Mhm.
and I'm told that this individual is, then it would seem to me, if you're going to call someone a scammer or to insinuate that someone's doing things
Mhm.
in a dubious manner or dishonest manner, you could allege that, because you
Mhm.
have to assume that they would know that.
Absolutely.
So, if you're saying I need you to, I need this amount for XYZ, to me, you'd have to be a charitable organization that the
Yeah.
government does recognize before you accept donations legally. So
Yeah,
you
you
can't
can.
call someone else the S word without, unless you're completely legitimate yourself.
Absolutely. Absolutely, you can.
I mean,
Like I said,
so to me, it's sad.
oh
They
my
they
God.
play on these people's ignorance. And to me, I want to ask you, Lady D, and I want to ask you, and I want to ask Miss Marcella and other people, why is it against the law to not, I guess, idolize this individual? In your opinion, why is it against their law to not feel like you want to worship this individual?
It's not that they worshiping her, it's what we just talked about. It's
Yeah.
anytime when it's something behind the scene that is benefiting them, then they're going to
Right.
push that cause. So
Hmm.
it's not like, oh, we just doing this. Maybe to the subscribers might just be doing
Okay.
this, but the ones that's really pushing it, they have an agenda.
Well, can I ask you this, Lady D? I don't know. Have you watched all the reunions for Love and Marriage Huntsville, ma'am?
Just about.
Okay, remember it was season 4 or season 5 when she had that alien kind of, the silver, not this past year, not the Christmas look, but when Torch Lady had on the metallic alien looking dress with the earrings. I don't know if it was reunion 4 or reunion 5, right? And
Hmm.
her and Carlos were talking, and I think Tisha had stated or alleged that she tried to pay a lady to come on the show or go on a girls trip to say that she had dealt with Tisha's husband, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
And then she said, Carlos, no, and the young lady stated, well, she was going to come on, but the money didn't look right. Carlos got
Hmm.
quiet. And she said, you remember, Carlos, I was going to have her come on, but she said she would have come on, but she didn't feel like she was getting paid enough. Do you recall that?
Absolutely. Yes, the five
Okay,
thousand
so
dollars. Mm-hmm.
right, if you can do that, then what would make you think that you wouldn't stoop to, let people benefit financially or otherwise from pushing your narrative?
Absolutely.
You did it in front of the whole country
That's it.
and
And then
said it.
Colors was, he acted like he was dumbfounded. He said that and said, "Well, I wasn't going to pay the 5,000." When she said, "Well, I wasn't going to pay it," so she was saying that, according to what Marcel said, that Melody, and I'm gonna say allegedly, wanted to pay her money,
Mhm.
to come on that show, but Melody said it was not going to come out of her pockets.
I do remember that.
Well, yes.
Hmm.
Bertha Raymond says GoFundMe accounts have been taken down. I bet it did, and created have been prosecuted for fraud. it made the news. Oh, she's talking about something else. Those accounts are being scrutinized now. Absolutely, absolutely. And
Mm-hmm.
they are very hard on stuff like this, especially when it comes to those GoFundMe accounts and
Yes, ma'am.
misusing it. And it's
Right.
easy to go ahead and report that,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't have to give your name, but you can report that because people that really need those donations,
Right.
they're
Donations.
not going to get
Exactly.
it. They're not going to get it because we got
Right.
people right now that's taking advantage of it. But the thing about it is that's against YouTube's guideline anyway. You cannot do
Oh
stuff
wow, I
like
didn't know
this.
that.
This right here,
Mm-hmm.
this is beyond. I mean, this is beyond crazy. And to say that they're doing
For real.
this, wow, this is bad. This is not good at all. Mm-mm.
No. And like I said, a lot of times people, especially when you're kind of not over someone, because to me, if you're really over someone and you've moved on, I don't see why it would be a problem to film with certain people. But that's just
Mhm.
me. Everybody's different. But my whole thing is this. I like what you asked earlier because I was up cooking, making lunch for my daughter before she goes to work. And you were like, well, I don't understand why, people continue to trauma bond. What is the storyline going to be?
Mhm.
You're not, maybe she'll concentrate on highlighting her classes she teaches or how she, ships her products. Maybe she'll come from more of a business perspective. But other than that, I don't know what a storyline would be.
Mhm. Mhm.
I'm
But
kind of with you on that.
if she used that as a storyline, then Tisha can use it as a storyline with her children products.
Right.
Also, Stormy could use it. So they all going to be using the same storyline. So who you think that they're
Hmm.
going to watch the most, especially when it's distributing products. They're gonna watch Stormy
Right.
because Stormy is really doing good,
She
when it
really
comes to
is.
her products.
She really is.
But she's
Yeah. I
gonna
mean,
have to come
she's all
better
over
than that.
TikTok.
Yes. She's gonna have to come.
Exactly.
I don't know
She's
what
pushing out
storyline
her
that
stuff
she has.
massively.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Only storylines that I can see with Miss Buddy having, and that's Chanel bracelets on.
Right. Maybe so. Maybe so. Maybe so. I just feel like this. I think the show is called Love and Marriage. And I don't think Carlos intended on it to highlight a divorced couple because he didn't bring a divorced couple on. So
Mhm.
to me, it would make more sense to concentrate on the married couples
Yes, with the
because the
Scots.
show is called Love and Marriage, just like he does on the other franchises. You know, but lady,
Mhm.
I want you to watch Love and Marriage Detroit. And there's another couple that's kind of like them on there. I don't know if you've seen it.
No, 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 because
I
see
want
when
you to watch the season
I'm
one.
more into my spirituality, and when I get into something like this, I start going in some places that when I start pulling out, they're not going to be ready for it. Okay, just like this
Oops.
demon right here is saying, "Little girl with pretty yes, yes," said, "You people are just lying. She is being blessed. You demons are not. Everything she touched turned to blessings. The lie, the lie. I want to know everything that she touched. It ends up in somebody else's hands."
Ma'am, can I ask you this? Nobody told you you have the right to remain silent and anything you say can be used against you and handcuffed you and made you come over here. Nobody goes over to you guys' side and distracts your programming. So whatever you think is fine, but when I watch and I disagree, I do it from the bushes. I don't come in and try to harass or get into combat with people about a difference of opinion because you're not going to change my mind. So
Absolutely.
please don't call me a demon because I didn't come over to you and arrest you or put handcuffs on you and drag you into my police car and make you come over here to address me. I didn't do that.
Absolutely. But Nicole, let's go ahead and break this down.
Okay.
They saying she is being blessed, you demons are not. I want to know tell me how can you be blessed when everything that you even thought of, even down to this show, is ending in somebody else's lap. Make it make
I
sense.
agree. I
Even
agree.
down and I'm sorry, guys. Like I said, you aired out. You are free game. Even down to her family, her children. You see what I'm saying? We got
Exactly.
another woman pressing and shopping for her own children. For make it
Exactly.
make sense. You know.
Exactly. And
So
I mean,
who's jealous
if
of
you're
that?
going to
Who's
be in
jealous of
media,
that?
you have to have a thick skin. And I mean, I respect whoever thinks whatever. I have my personal opinions, and to me, if I branched out and I have so many multiple streams of income, and I felt like my mental health was being challenged as a mother, I wouldn't go to a job that would have make me feel like I could not be in a mental space or 100% mental space where I could raise my kids. So if something was affecting me that badly, just to make sure that I was at my top, top of the game mentally, I would step away. So I mean, how much is it really bothering you?
Okay. Look, Queen, I can handle this right here. She also says, talking about God, what the hell you mean, demons? Talking about God, many people say, Lord, Lord. You see what I'm saying? Even the devil
Mm-hmm.
knows him. You see, even the devil knows his name, but that
Well,
does
little
not
girl with
mean
pretty
that
eyes,
you.
I will say this, and I don't mean to interrupt you, Miss Lady D. Nobody dragged you by handcuffs, put you under arrest, and made you come over here. So again, as I stated, you can call me whatever you like, but I just want
Mhm.
to make nobody even sent for you guys or mention any of the gas meters names. But I'll send you
Absolutely.
back to 7th Avenue and you can refer to this lie. It's not against the law for me to state my opinion, and I do have a
That's
difference
it.
of opinion. And secondly, nobody arrested you and made you come over here.
That's it. And the thing about it is that they want everybody to jump on the bandwagon. They don't want other people to be critical thinkers, to think
Exactly.
outside the box. Just because it's the way that you see it, it doesn't mean that somebody
Exactly.
else have to see it the same way. And then also
Exactly.
talking about God, everybody talk about God, but that does not mean
Right.
that they are God-like. So
And to me,
if you are
if you're
God,
godlike and your
that,
fan base reflected that,
that's it.
let
It
me ask
doesn't.
Lady D, I have never seen anybody with a difference of opinion. And I watched just to be messy. I've never, stay up at night at work or whatever. I never see anybody who is not a gas meter go sit in those people's channels and say things to try to distract programming because they know they will get attacked, cursed out,
Mhm.
threatened, doxxed. So they don't do that. So to me, I get upset because they have the audacity to come over to people's channels and watch. You're welcome to enjoy the programming, but to come in and try to distract the programming and call people names and be negative to people, keep that over there. She
That's
told
it.
she told her people about a certain young man who was blogging. Look, if you support me, don't go over there. Well, you're not listening to your queen. So take your butt back to 7th Avenue. Promo code, you get 1% off. Bow down, 1% off. Take your butt back to
Absolutely.
7th Avenue if you're going to be negative because nobody arrested you
Mm-mm-mm.
and made the gas meters come over here. Nobody did.
That's it. That's it. If I don't like something, I'm not going to stay. I'm going to go
Period.
where I'm being entertained. But quite
I mean, you're
obvious,
welcome to
we must
watch. We
strike it a
thank you.
nerve. You must be striking a nerve because, like I said, this is a very small platform. This is grown folks, no children in here.
Exactly.
This is 18 and up.
Exactly.
And if you
We
think
thank
that
you for the
everybody,
view.
that's it.
But
And if you
again,
think everybody is going to bow down to one person, you got to be
right.
crazy.
That's crazy. And like I wanted to, I thank you for giving me the opportunity to say that because I see, like I said, the gas meters come over and any content creators page that does not agree with whatever the narrative is, they act like somebody arrested them, may
Mhm.
drag them, told them they had the right to remain silent, and anything they said could be used against them. And we handcuffed them and made them type in the chat.
My
Nobody
God.
made them do that.
Not at all. Not at all. And they are so impressed just because, Miss Buddy wants to go ahead and use God's name in vain.
Right.
Like I said, many call out that name, but that does not mean anything because they don't have the characteristics of it. What person that
Exactly.
is going to sit there and say, God said this, God say that, but you do the opposite of what God said,
And what we
trying
reap,
to
what we
unalive a
sow, we reap.
person, setting fires in the house, throwing plants in the house, throwing
Thank you.
knives in the wall, and then sending innocent kids to the slaughterhouse. Make it make sense.
Exactly. And like I said, even provoke people go to jail. I was one of those. Husband and I got into it years ago, back in '01. Neighbor called the police. They came, they saw a scratch, took me to jail. He came and dropped the charges, although they saw where he pulled my braids out. And
Mhm.
they took me to jail because they saw a scratch. he dropped the charges. Now I was provoked because he pulled my hair, but I
Mhm.
still went to jail. You see what I'm saying? So even provoked people who are provoked do go to jail. So I'm
Absolutely.
not saying that. I don't know. I wasn't there. She says, whomever says that wasn't the entire footage. But even though you're provoked, it still does not give you the right to, use chemicals to attempt to damage or threaten to attempt to damage or pick up a weapon at anybody. There's
Absolutely.
nothing godly about that. And number two, to me, if you're going to say you're godly, then you're going to come, being a humble, respectful person. And what we reap, we sow. What we sow, we reap. And you do not supposed to delight in the downfall of others.
That's it. And see, the thing about it is that they cannot handle the seeds that they planted. They
Mm-mm.
cannot. Go ahead. You can continue talking.
I agree. I agree with you, Lady D. Exactly. Exactly. And to me, when you boldly come into, it's not like anybody called whomever that lady's name was or mentioned people's names. And then they say, well, they talked about me. I'm going to go over there and state my opinion. They come over and blatantly show people how combative and just negative and defensive they are. Did nobody call them? Nobody arrested them. Nobody mentioned their names. And every time her fans represent her, they represent her in a combative, negative. I mean, where they're even calling people names they don't know. That's crazy. Can you hear me?
I was on the phone. Go ahead. Look,
Okay,
I was
that's
letting
okay.
you have it. You didn't have to
I'm
stop.
sorry about it. I'm sorry
But
about
let's
that. But
go
I'm
and
just
read
saying,
the other girl with pretty eyes. This is my last time going to answer this person because, like I said, you know, in here you have a right to your opinion, long as you keep it on topic. But when you
exactly.
come at me, trust me, maybe this not the channel for you. And I'm not going to sit there and cater to no one and let nobody talk to my guests or talk to me any type of
You.
way. Okay, so I'm gonna read this, and after this is my last time reading from this person because, as you can see, they are a part of this trauma bonding
Oh,
wagon.
bring them up. I send them back to 7th Avenue with promo code
The
1%. Go ahead.
real cousins is shopping for her children. Idiots is something she's doing for a show. You are right. What she said, you are right. Anything body can call on God. You are not God, like at all. I say not. I didn't never told you I was God, okay? But I know one thing. What we seeing right now is not Christ-like, and just
No.
because you calling her an idiot, I don't think that her children is calling this woman an idiot, and I don't think that the man, her ex-husband, is calling her an idiot as well because
And when
this
Jesus
man is
comes,
doing
Jesus
something
comes
that you should
humbly.
be doing, and
Jesus,
that
when
woman
when
should be doing what she should be doing. Okay,
when Jesus comes in and he shines his light, he doesn't shine it in a negative way unless you come at
absolutely.
him like that. Now Jesus is not on Jesus is a warrior, but
Mhm.
Jesus comes with in a humble, kind spirit. Jesus doesn't come in and talk to people and throw insults and get combative with people that didn't even ask you, first of all, to come. And then when you were addressed, nobody disrespected you.
Absolutely, absolutely. But the thing about it is they butt hurt because see, they want you to sit there and run with this lie,
Right,
like everybody else, but nobody's not gonna run with it. We're gonna call it out as we see it. And the thing about it is that when it comes to Ariane,
right.
I already talked about that scripture, and I think it's coming out of the book of Joel. You see,
Mhm.
when you sitting there, you trying to become God and putting yourself in front of the wheel, then what you do is you tie up God's hands, and God
Exactly.
might find favor in the ones that you think that deserve to be set there and taken out. You understand what I'm saying? When I'm
Right.
talking,
Well, the scripture, Jesus says, he who is exalted will be debased, and he who is
absolutely.
debased will be exalted.
And somebody else might come and enjoy it. Now, who to
Right.
say that this is how God, even though you may had had all this, had the children, but
Right.
he might have saw that you wasn't even fit to raise your kids, where he
Well,
got
yeah.
somebody else to raise your kids, because we already know, and I don't care, guys, if you get butt hurt or whatever, we only can go by of what they put out. Martell say after he sat there and did a hard day's work tearing down
Hmm.
buildings and building it back up, got to come home and clean and cook and bath the kids, and the mom was there and he got to feed the mom and everybody else. And God probably sat there and say, what's the purpose of having this dead log in the house? Then, well, I'm gonna give him to somebody that wants to sit there and help these children grow and wants to sit there
But you
and
can
teach
say
them
that
how,
about
you know.
every parent. Like my dad tells me, God made two parents for a reason. One
Mhm.
parent is supposed to make up for the other parent's shortcomings.
Yeah,
You
but
hope
what's the purpose of
that you
having
create a
somebody
positive home.
a dead log in the house? Okay.
I agree. I'm not disagreeing with you, but I'm just saying, I'm sure both of them have complaints. But to me, if you know your role as a woman, and you really say you're godly and you really abide by those scriptures, then it's God. The man is the head of household. Then it
Mhm.
comes the wife and children. So you have to fall under that man's authority if you are
Yeah.
in fact Christian. And that man, like Peter says, husbands respect your wives, wives respect your husbands. It's not saying
Mhm.
that anybody should be there and be abused, but God, there's a natural order in all things.
Absolutely.
So
And
I
then
agree
say,
with you. And
and then
sometimes
say,
if
yeah.
you're raised in a traditional environment, yeah, a
Mhm.
man's gonna expect his wife to do certain things. I agree
Absolutely.
with you, Lady
And then
D.
it say, what the hell you mean demon? Well, it take a demon to know the demon because devil is not going to cast out themselves. Okay. So if you calling me a demon, it take one to know one. Okay.
Well, why are you here if you're so
That's
godly?
it.
And why would you surround yourself around people that you feel are that? A, and number two, B. It says resist the devil and he will flee from you. You have not fled, so
Yep.
therefore, there is no devil for you to resist. And if you feel that there is, nobody put handcuffs on you, said you had the right to remain silent, and made you type anything in the chat. Nor has anyone disrespected you, but you are the prime example as to why people feel that the way they do about the gas meters.
Yes.
You
Yes.
every time one of you come in the chat, you don't show any differently. You don't show
That's it.
anything differently. You're always combative. You're always ready to argue. You're always ready to be defensive all the time.
And
Because
country
I
girl,
know
you can
this.
go ahead and remove that person if you wanna. If you can't remove it, I'm gonna have to make sure I go back so you can be able to remove people. But you got the ranch. Go ahead and move this person out of here because I done had enough of that person. Okay? I'm not
Yeah, I
even gonna
mean
read no more of those comments.
they
Remove
kill
that
me with
person.
that.
Bertha
They
says
do.
Book of Job, little girl, pretty, whatever her name. But Bertha said we actually read and have read scriptures. I over here, Lady D has a Bible study
She
content too.
does.
Check it out.
It's
But see, they ain't
excellent.
gonna listen to that part right there. Like I said there and say they only hear just to cause corruption, just to
Hmm.
interrupt things because
Strife.
they butthurt. They butthurt.
Right.
Linda
Dissension
Jones
and
says,
strife.
yes, Linda Jones says, I listen to those YouTubers just to see what their perspective are until I
Hmm.
can't take it anymore. But I never comment, and that's out of respect, not about to argue about my opinion. Yeah, totally
Right.
agree with that. Hey,
Exactly.
Ashanti, how are you
Hey,
doing,
Mrs.
Ashanti?
Shanti.
Hi, ladies. Good
Girl, you see
afternoon.
these people trying to sit there and start me early.
I had to chime in, and Nicole, you and Lady D have been giving some great nuggets this afternoon
Thank
about
you.
Thank
everything
you.
that's been going on. Like you said, y'all swindling money.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Because Maurice ain't gonna say a word because he already told y'all, stop playing with me.
Hmm. Yes, ma'am.
So in that instance, Maurice, you have my support wholeheartedly. I'll drive to
Me too.
Huntsville and stand down there with you. I'm
Me too.
ready.
He has the right to
Stop
defend his
it.
way.
Yes, he does. And
Amen.
and
Bottom line.
and and that's what I'm telling you. The way that they have torn this man down, like you can't play with people. I understand that a lot of her fans aren't career women, and you could tell that
Right.
they aren't. I'm just being honest with you, just based off
Hmm.
of the that's that word again, lady, the vitriol, just the evilness
Yes, it
and the
is.
constantly pulling down of others. You can't be
Right.
a woman that's walking around the world with her head held high, doing
Mhm.
good,
Hmm.
doing great, being successful. Only a
Exactly.
lowbrow woman who is
Hmm.
stuck wherever she is would go
Stuck.
Yes,
after
That's the
ma'am.
people
key.
like
That's the key
this.
word. Stuck.
Suck. Yes, it
Yes.
is. Amen.
It's
Exactly.
like, do
I
you
agree.
not have anything going for yourself, ma'am, whoever y'all are? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
to to sit up and just constantly try to demean, tear down. If Tisha had left Marceau and they had made a big storyline out of, oh, they would have rejoiced. They would have threw a
They would have.
Absolutely.
parade.
They would have. But when
Absolutely.
you're not happy, you don't want to see anybody else do anything remotely positive when you're a bitter,
Exactly.
angry person, and
Yes.
your marriage breaks up. Some people lean on people spiritually.
Yep.
They look for real friends that are going to help them through it. And sometimes those people can counsel them. Okay, you try to find out, what are you guys doing to be successful, because all couples, like the Bible says, 1 Corinthians 13, true love endureth all things, and I believe
Yes.
that. But my whole thing is, you have people that are hurt, and some people want to spread it like cancer. They're not hurt. I mean, they're hurt. They're not healed. They're not trying to heal. So the only way they know is to lash out, Miss Ashanti. That's
Mhm.
just my opinion.
And I'm gonna tell you this, Nicole, and it's something that a lot of people don't realize. Marriage does not equal true love. A lot of people marry people that's not the right person for them.
I did. You right
Absolutely.
about that.
So it's
And
My
like,
and
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 parents
that's what I'm
did
also
too.
Ashanti,
saying.
You
It,
Ashanti,
right.
also
people, you
consider.
can get divorced and get remarried. The person you might
Mhm.
be with right now is not necessarily the person God had lined up for you.
That's
He
it.
probably
Amen.
put, as far as their marriage is concerned, if they was at the bridal shower telling Melody, "Hey, he slept with a girl yesterday that's in the
Right.
wedding," and you still
Right.
married him, come
Right. You knew.
on.
You
That's
knew.
it.
But some people, like I said, Mr. Shanti, I feel like with us, and my daughters laugh at me, but I grew up around my grandmother because my parents worked very high profile jobs. So that's who kept me.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
my grandmother was a very humble. She stayed married for 50 years. My grandfather was the only man she was around. And my mom is very much has that high achiever, women empowerment attitude. But to me, it doesn't get us anywhere a lot of times, because as women of color, sometimes we can be very defensive, and we don't come
Mhm.
across very feminine and very pliable. Now, the Bible does say, and I'm not sure Lady D's read it somewhere, that a meek spirit is a powerful spirit. Just because you're meek and
Come on,
humble
come on,
does
come
not
on.
mean you're not a strong or one that can endure things. But I
Absolutely.
believe if you truly love someone, you can. True love endures all things. You have people that love people that are in jail. You have people that spouses have done things that were terrible, but because they decided to, I love this person, I'm going to ask that the Lord help us through this. And you have two people that are committed to, two people, not one, two people that are committed to, I made a mistake and I'm going to try my best not to do it again. And if you are long suffering as a spouse, wife or husband, and
Mhm.
say, I'm going to put up with this and stay and stick it out. Or if you decide that I can't be that long suffering spouse anymore, I'm not going to judge you either way. But I'm not going
Absolutely.
to say anything to influence or judge you and tell you what you should do.
Absolutely. And let me say this right quick.
Well,
I
okay,
think
I'm
that
sorry.
Shanti, let me say this right quick. I think it was more of what Martell can do for her. I don't really think that she really, really loved him, because if she really loved it, Martell, she wouldn't have never sat there and had the police to handcuff the children of her husband in front of their children. That's not love. I think she only
Mm-mm.
wanted him for the benefits. It was clout chasing. And that's why she was able to stay in that marriage, and knowing that Ariane was in that marriage for half of it, half of their marriage. And she didn't do a doggone thing, because it was all about clout chasing to make her look good, about an image. Because why would you
Well,
stay in a marriage knowing that your man was out there with another woman, and you even met the woman, went in the woman's house and met her
mhm.
mother? So it was just clout chasing. And she was just waiting for that opportunity to get on her feet so she could sit there and do what she did. All this stuff was planned it out. That's why everything that she touched fails. Go ahead,
Well,
Ashanti.
I would say this, if you get married and you have children by someone and you're clearly the more educated one, I'm just using it as a point of argument,
Mhm.
Lady D. What I'm saying is that for you to compete or quote unquote get treated like the side piece in your own house, when your husband prioritizes another relationship over you, or you feel that way. I wasn't
Mhm.
in the marriage. I can't say whether she felt that way or not. I believe that if you're scorned and you can't move on, you say you have, but your actions betray that, then
Mhm.
there is a level of love there at that you just can't get over. I just feel like it was a thing where they, as a couple, they cared for or loved each other, however you want to word it. But I think at some point there was active competition there. One they both have babies are born in the same month, but a different year,
Mhm.
So I think that they were both trying to, she was trying to fight for her space and be treated as the wife. And then you have
Mhm.
the other lady, and it goes on all the time. You have the other lady that feels like, okay, I want him with me, and if you were gone, we would be together,
Mhm.
So I feel like they were both fighting and competing for his to be number one. And I don't think
Mhm.
any wife should have to compete for her husband in the same house.
That's
I feel like
absolutely. I
every
totally agree with that.
husband, like my husband was not innocent at all, and neither was I, as I've shared with anybody, because I'm a transparent type of person. But
Mhm.
I will say this: nobody ever called my house, came to my house, and he never spoke badly about me
Mhm.
to anybody he dealt with. There was a line there, like, I don't want my wife doing certain things with me. I'm here to, if you're willing to do whatever that is, and
Mhm.
that's what it is.
Mhm.
Every person he dealt with knew that, he had a wife, and, you know, his wife, he didn't want his wife doing XYZ. So he wanted her to do ABC, and he wasn't leaving and going anywhere.
Mhm. Mhm.
I
Mhm.
was gonna
And it,
say,
it not condoning what he did, because it didn't make me feel any better. But then too, as I've shared with you, I was not innocent either. Okay.
Mhm.
So all I'm saying is this, is that I feel like there was a line of disrespect from both spouses. And that's what
Absolutely.
created, what we're seeing now.
Absolutely. I totally agree because it takes two to tear down a house. You cannot tear a
Exactly.
house by yourself. But the thing, how I see it, like I said, they aired it out and they are free game. They put their life on
Right.
public display. But from what I have observed, I think that it was more of clout chasing. She got a taste
Yeah.
of being a part of,
Mhm.
the elite,
Mhm.
the social like, and
I agree with you. And
what it
that's why I
was
say,
is that
yeah.
once she
hey,
got there,
Lady D.
huh?
No, no, no. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead and finish your thought, Lady D. Sorry.
Yeah, and once she got there, she wanted more and more, and she was just waiting for this opportunity that she got now. And when you had said she's more educated, see, I also heard a lot of other bloggers, and content creators, talking about, oh,
Mhm.
she was educated and Martell was dumb. Well, like I said, they say they both had what each other need. She may
Right.
have had the brain, but she might have
Right.
not gotten where she had gotten today if it wasn't for him, because he was the one that had the
Martell had the
vision.
beauty. He had the
Yeah, he
beauty.
Right.
had the vision. It's some kind of
I
noise
agree.
I hear, guys.
Let me
Um,
turn my phone down.
he was the one that had the vision. She was a school teacher. He took her out of the school system and made her the CEO of her company, of their
Right.
company, and it turned to $1 million business. So let's go
Mhm.
back to the more educated. That's just how the girls was in my business. They were
Right.
social workers. They was RN, and
Mhm.
it's like they came in with the education, something that I did not have. Okay. And
Right.
they tried to run my business, but I sat there and said, you the one consider yourself as having, all these degrees, but yet you
Right.
working for me. You working for me.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
A degree
If
does not
you
equal
sat there
common sense.
if
I
you
agree.
knew how to build this business, why you didn't start you one? You see?
Right.
So
I agree.
I don't care about how this person may have been educated. It's what you could do with it, because you may not
Yes.
have the vision. You don't know how to
Right.
put two and two together, but you just educated fool. And I'm not knocking nobody with no education. But when
Right.
you
Right.
bless that, and no devil in hell can prevail against that.
I credit both of them. I mean,
But
you
like,
couldn't have
Yes,
done something like that,
absolutely.
dynamic without one partner being able to make up for what the other partner didn't have. You build on each other's strengths, and you make up for their weaknesses based on the other person's strengths. But I'm gonna go ahead and let you say what you need to say, Mrs. Shanti. I'm sorry, ma'am.
you okay? No, I was just going to say that, and Lady D, we had kind of talked about that before. The dynamic of their relationship. I can That girl, she seemed like she's insufferable, and I could just imagine being at home with her. It might have been hellacious for
You talking
Martell.
about Miss
I'm just
Bunny?
being
You talking
honest
about
with
Miss Bunny?
you.
You talking about Miss
Cause
Bunny?
Marcel and
Amen.
all them friends, she at home talking bad about their wives and dogging
Yeah.
his friends and his life and I mean
Sean, you have a good memory. Remember the episode when he was talking to Lewis and they first broke up and they were at the gym and Martell said to Lewis, she's got a problem with everybody. I mean, she has a problem with
yes. It seemed like she was insufferable. Like, man.
Yeah.
Can you imagine how she probably talked smack? They probably went after function. She was being fake with their wives and stuff. As soon as they get in the car, she talking bad about everybody.
But I think she was jealous. Want me to tell you something, Ashanti? I think she was jealous because she saw how Tisha and them was good to their man. You remember when Tisha and them was serving their husband and Marcel, what's his name? Martell was saying, Miss Buddy don't do that for me. And I think that right there had really got into her mental head where, you know, she felt like
she was treating him like a dog. When he throw him a piece of bologna. When he throw him a piece of bologna. But all y'all was making a steak and potatoes. I'm just being honest.
Right. Exactly.
You wouldn't even throw him a piece of bologna. That's how you was treating him.
Exactly.
And old girl said, I'm gonna treat him good.
Right. And I believe but I was raised, you know, I saw the only marriage I knew, I saw my mom's fall apart because she was into the women empowerment and so forth. And my mom was raised in the church and has really just turned her back on it. But my grandmother, who stayed married for 50 years, didn't have to work, but she worked when she wanted to. My grandfather took care of everything. She got what she wanted. But my grandmother always had a very humble, kind spirit. And I feel like I embody her when people meet me and they say, Miss Nicole, you are so nice. And I said, and I go to bed at night and I'm like, God, thank God I had my grandmother, because my mother is kind of like that type A personality. Mrs. Shanti was saying, you know, I'm trying to honor thy mother and father, Lord. But my grandmother was just the opposite. Very humble, very respectful, always, you know, served my grandfather and, you know, made sure he was okay and took his stuff to the cleaners, just all kind of stuff. And my aunt and my mom would laugh. But my grandmother said when I got married and, you know, you talk to your grandmother about what you're going through because, you know, your mom is totally different. My grandmother said, well, look at who can keep men. Like I've had my man for 50, at that time, it was.
She must have dropped. Her mic dropped. You there, Ashanti?
Yes, ma'am. I'm here.
Okay,
yes,
her mic had dropped. Let me take this right here. Sarah Hill says
women like that.
Yeah, you had dropped. Repeat it again. Go ahead. What you're saying? Your mic had dropped.
I'm so sorry. I was saying that my grandmother would tell me, why are you listening to women that can't hold a husband? And I've been married 45 years. So she said, don't talk to your mom and your aunt and them about your marital problems. Call me, because who's been married longer?
That's
why I'm glad Tisha didn't listen to none of the fans when it came to marriage.
Absolutely.
Period.
I'm so glad she did not let, like you said, misery loves company. Tisha has a soft life. She know Marcel. She been with him 20 years. She know what she's dealing with.
Exactly.
Let her live. Leave her alone.
Right.
Let her live.
And if she wants to hold her family together and God respects that, who the hell am I?
That's it.
Evidently what they have going on is working. So to me, all this errand phone calls of fake phone calls of people's women calling in or whatever. Do you think that was really going to break up somebody's marriage or cause problems? Or if it did, that Tisha and Marceau were going to air that to the public? That's why I have so much respect for them. Because it takes strength. Because I know me and my husband did not have it. I divorced him. But if we got into it, it was very toxic. You know, until, you know, as I told you, Lady D, through the legal separation and divorce, we were told we couldn't be that way. But for a couple to be in the public eye and endure that kind of negativity and toxicity being thrown in their direction, and they still endure that, and they don't air out their dirty laundry, I have respect for people like that. I really do.
And that's the key. That's the key. Let me take a crack at this. You talking about airing out your dirty laundry. That's why my husband and I, you know, like I say, been in a long time, because what's our business gonna stay in our business. Cheryl says none of us knows what went on in their marriage. Let's be clear, that's not true. The whole world put their whole marriage
Sarah. It's a gazillion
I had,
videos about
I
these
had to
folks'
answer that.
marriages,
I had to
ma'am.
answer that one.
For real. And about who didn't satisfy who in the bedroom, and who didn't have the old word, and who had a hook and a curve. Must I go on?
And I'm gonna tell you, the hook and the curve is the root of all these GoFundMe's, hatred,
That's it.
lawsuits.
Right.
That girl losing that man is the
Right.
basis
Who
of all
didn't
of
know?
this craziness going on online. They have tried
Right.
to destroy everybody, even Carlos King,
Yes.
because of
Yeah.
that one relationship.
Yep. It's sad. It really is very
Because
sad.
somebody was so, like I told you, it had to be some goodness in them because you would not be so bitter all of these years after divorce. You
I
would,
agree.
if God was in you, God would have told you, allow grace. You would have got online and said, hey, Kimmy, my girl, she going through an illness. Let's pray for
Mhm.
her and Maurice. You
There
know,
you
it would
go.
have been a totally different vibe
Right.
if
I
it was
agree.
of God.
You're very smart, very intuitive. I agree. If you were really down for wanted to, even if you didn't feel that way, the whole world shouldn't have known. You should have basically asked your fan base to be more humble. I'll give you an example. Remember when I think Beyonce was somewhere and there was a certain star that was going through some tax issues?
Hmm.
LH was going through some tax issues, and I don't know if she was performing at a concert, but her fans had asked her how she felt about that. And Beyonce is so gracious. She said, she's a wonderful artist and is a genius in music, so we're not going to bring that up.
Mm.
Exactly.
You remember that,
Sarah
Exactly.
said,
right?
well, Sarah said we heard and not saw. It came out the horse's mouth. So what are you talking about? It came out the horse's mouth. She aired it
It
all
did.
out, even from he
Right.
never gave her the big O. Make it make
Right.
sense. And
Exactly.
go ahead and take a crack at this, Shantae. Linda Young says, and let's be real, if Tisha and Marcel were not on the show, it will be so boring because Mel cannot hold that show by itself. Go ahead, Shantae, and then
Yes.
Nicole.
It's like watching paint dry. Melody scenario. I don't want to hear nothing else about Martell and Ariel, and I'd had enough of them for the rest of my life. I'm just being honest. And as we had said before, Lady D, that night Miss Wanda was on with us, they brought about a whole nother dynamic.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It was
Hmm.
exciting, fun. We laughed about it. It was
Hmm.
light spirited, even their family arguments and everything. So the Scots most definitely brought good stuff to the
They
table.
did. They
Maurice
Absolutely.
brought
did.
his ex wife. See,
Right.
even bringing Kiowa on, that's a person
Hmm.
moving on. He
Right.
had Kiowa and her husband on. Maurice has moved on. He ain't holding no bitter pill towards her. He ain't telling his
Period.
fans, bash my children's mother, tear her down, dox her. You see what I'm saying? It's only
I
one
agree.
person on that show who is a cancer to the entire cast,
Ooh, she
including
preached that.
Carlos
Ooh,
King.
Mm.
yeah.
She
Cancer.
preached that. I love pure, honest spirits. You
Yes,
preached
she
that, baby girl. Yes, you did. I agree. You did. That's why I like you. You remind me of Miss
me
Marcella, where
too.
you are just,
Me
you
too.
just say what you have to say and you keep it so genuine, but you're not mean about it. You know?
Yes. Well,
I
because
agree,
like I
Mrs.
told
Santi.
you, yeah, it's like it has. It's been terrible to see, just like I told you, move on, sis. Move on.
Exactly.
That's all I can tell you,
I agree.
ma'am. Don't sell your t-shirts, you push your product, but you gotta let it go. God, and
Right.
we say it all the time, Lady D, God got something better for you.
That's it.
Amen.
No
That's
man
it.
is gonna want to
Amen.
touch you.
That's
If
it.
dating you is going to destroy his career if y'all break up.
That's it.
Exactly. Exactly. I agree.
Go ahead,
I agree.
Go ahead, Nicole.
Well, I've always liked it was an ensemble cast. That's why I liked you when I first started listening to you, Lady D. Ensemble cast meant that everybody had a different dynamic, right? So it's
Hmm.
like when you started changing the dynamic of the show and removing people and letting more people film than others, or letting more storylines shine through than others, and they didn't keep that even dynamic, I think that's what killed the show. And I think all of them had their own individuality to bring to the show. Then they had the couple dynamic, and it kind of blended together. You know what I'm saying? And that's what kept it alive for so many seasons. But when you concentrate just on one dynamic and all the other cast falls by the wayside, that's what ruined the show, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
They say too much. They stress the same storyline too much too often.
Mm-hmm.
They used to show the Scotts and their family. Then they would bring Kimmy on, with her son, and like Mrs. Shanti said, you had Maurice and his dynamic, and they didn't just stay on one, storyline. But
Mm-hmm.
now even the fans on both sides are saying, look, we hope that they come with a new storyline this season.
Absolutely. She beat that like
So
a
I
dirty
agree.
old dish rag. We got tired of
It
hearing
is at this
about
point. And in
what
fact,
she
I
and
won't even,
Martell
I'll watch
going through.
when you review it, Lady D, I'll watch it when you review it. But I don't want to sit and watch it, if it's going to be the same storyline. No. And when they
No.
talk about people being real and being honest, how much do you really know about everybody's family on there?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just being polite, if you know what I'm trying to get at. I mean, you really don't know a lot about. I think we've seen some siblings here and there. You don't see the other parent or the grandparents or any family functions, or Miss Wanda had her niece on there, Miss Kiki. You don't see enough. It's kind of like certain people keep that dynamic completely separate from the show, but everybody else doesn't. Martell's brother's been on there. I think
His
the cast
uncle,
member,
come on,
right.
everybody has brought on a cast of characters in their life.
Right, right, exactly. She did once, a brother and a sister, but nobody, no grandmother, no uncle. It's kind of
Mm-hmm.
like, it's really weird that you have questions about. They ask all these intrusive. I'm getting like Mr. Shanti now. You ask all these intrusive questions and talk about people not being real and sharing things. Well, how much
Mm-hmm.
do you really know about certain people on that cast?
Not at all.
Have they ever shot a family reunion, or like when Tisha and them did the family reunion in Bessemer that time? You don't really see a lot. You don't see the other parent. You don't see. I mean, I saw her siblings once or twice. She had a sister on
Mm-hmm.
once and a brother on a couple times, but you don't really see a lot of her family dynamic at all.
Mm-hmm. So look, anybody can answer this question right here. Why you think she's not focusing, Miss Buddy? I'm talking about Miss Buddy. Why she don't focus on what she got going on with a other little network or streaming little reality show, whatever she's doing?
I don't
Why you
know.
think she's not focusing on that instead of staying somewhere where she's not happy?
Not
Well,
only
from
not
what I
happy, but not
understand,
wanted. She's not
huh?
wanted either. I said she's not only unhappy on this show, but she's not
Hmm.
wanted either.
I don't
They
think
don't
Absolutely.
I
want her
agree, Mr.
around.
Shanti.
It's been a
No.
detriment to everybody on their cast.
Amen.
New
Amen.
people have left because they've been bullied and everything like crazy. They
Right.
can't take it. You getting doxxed, you calling people jobs. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Right.
if she left, well, like Lady D said, they really could let it rest for a couple years because even if she
Hmm.
left, they still would go after these people. The season isn't even going on, and look at what they're doing to them. Still,
Ashanti, they did a 3-part series. The lady's older, so I'm not going to mention anybody's name specifically, on Mr. Holt's financial information.
That's sad.
That was last
mm,
Thursday or Friday, where they actually, everything he owed, that was cause for discussion. Like, don't you have anything better to do? And how's knowing what people's debts are going to affect your life one way or the other? And if the same thing got done to them, they'd be on live for 24 hours.
Mm-mm.
no. Point blank, period. Y'all setting up GoFundMes. He ain't set up one, so why you got one? Since you
That's
doing
it.
better
Period.
than him, why you online begging?
Amen. Okay.
He ain't acting on one of us.
Amen.
His little 10,
Mm.
20 fans he got. He ain't acting on one of us to help him out.
That's
So
it. That's it.
why y'all doing
Exactly.
so good off of spitting all this hatred? You're not getting paid for it because if you
Right.
did, you'd have $3,500 saved
Mm-mm.
because
Exactly.
y'all living off of hate.
Yeah.
Right.
I,
I
I
agree.
think your mic is kind of messed up, or it's just loud in my earphones,
Let me turn it down.
Nicole.
It might be me.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry.
You
Yeah, I
see,
turned it down. Is that better, Miss
But
Lady
I but
D?
I want to go hold you guys, Lady D. But I hate I had to
Me either,
chime in
Lady
with
D.
you,
I don't
Lady
want to
D,
mess
because
up your
y'all
show. And
been
I want to thank you for having me on your panel, ma'am, and let me get that off my chest. And
you
speaking to
are
somebody
welcome,
knowledgeable
guys.
about 501c3s and throwing out people, calling people scammers when that can be said about them. But as far as Nubian Network, Lady D, she's not the CEO and co-owner. I think she's one of the owners. Miss Marcella had showed that guy who
I'm
actually
sorry,
is
Nicole.
over
Before you
that
finish, I
network,
was going to
and
leave
she's
out.
part
Okay, Lady
owner.
D, I'm going to leave out. Okay.
And thank you
I'm
So
very
going to
much.
y'all
talk to
have
It's
a
you.
nice
always
You're
a
evening.
welcome.
pleasure,
Will do.
Ashanti.
Bye.
You are,
Yes,
girl, you
ma'am.
my girl.
I know. I'll be
Love
back,
you,
Lady D.
Lady
You know
D.
I will. I'll be
You
back.
are welcome
All
in,
right.
both of
Yes,
you guys.
ma'am. Y'all
And
have
you
a good
too,
day.
Mrs.
Anytime.
Shanti.
All
I'm gonna
right. You
drop
too,
down, Lady D,
Nicole.
because I gotta get ready to go get
All
ready for
right.
work now. But it's
Okay.
been a
Thank you.
pleasure. I love your show and I love your socially conscious and your evolved this material. It's something different and you always learn something anytime you watch you, ma'am. Okay.
And I love having you guys. And thank you very much
Thank
because
you.
I
Have
mean
a good
it
day,
was
ma'am.
very fun. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Guys,
Thank
look,
you.
I really enjoyed myself. Really have enjoyed myself, but I'm going to go ahead and cut it off. We've been here for 2 hours, and thank you, my girl, country girl, my ma. Thank you very, very much, Sharon Hills. Thank you, guys. Who else came? Linda Young. Thank you for coming in, and also even little girl, thank you as well, because we all have a right to our opinion, but make sure you keep it on topic, because like I said, at the end of the day, we don't know these people from a can of paint. Okay, and half of these people will see your tail on the street on fire and wouldn't even pee on your tail to go ahead and put it out, but yet we are so involved in these people personal business. That says a lot about you all. So guys, I'm gonna go ahead and close it down. I think my girl misbehaving, I think she's supposed to come on, if I'm not mistaken, at 4 Eastern. So make sure you go ahead and check out Misbehaving and keep her in prayer. Let her know that this right here, these nothing but trolls, just trying to come after her to shut her down. But like I said, no weapon formed against us shall prosper. And every tongue, the Bible says, every tongue that rise against us, we shall condemn. So, like I said, ain't nobody mad but the devil. That's exactly how I look at it. My girl Bertha Raymond says, enjoy the rest of your day. Blessings. And guys, you all have a blessed, prosperous day. And at the end of the day, all this right here is for entertainment purpose only. Okay. And you all be blessed.